Hello and welcome to the N54 maintenance series. Today we're going to be working on our 2008 E90 N54 powered BMW. We're going to be working on the rear main seal today. And while the rear main seal is not necessarily always required maintenance, because the rear main seal doesn't fail that often, you'll find that sometimes on a higher mileage N54, if you're in there already, you might as well replace it. So let's go through the steps that it would take to repair this rear main seal and talk about this one in particular. Now the rear main seal is circular. It basically goes right over the crank. There's a very smooth surface that it adheres to, and it does have leak points on both sides, on this side and as well on this side. This is not necessarily very prone to failure. In fact, you can look at this and it looks like it's actually in pretty good condition, so there really is no need to replace it. But like I said, for a higher mileage N54, it's probably a good idea to just do it while you can. So let's take a look at the replacement one that we have and discuss methods of removing the old one and installing the new one. All right, so a quick discussion of the parts and the things that we're going to be using here. This is the new seal. Okay, it has a adapter here, this white adapter. Actually, remove this really quick. This is the seal, and you have a white adapter that sits snugly right on top there so that you can easily have something that allows you to just push that seal on. And you don't just push it with your fingers on, you got to push it with something with uniform pressure, which is why I've created this 4-inch metal tube. You can also use PVC, and that's what this piece is here for. So you're putting the pressure on the plastic piece through that. You basically just use a piece of wood and you just lightly hammer it in. That's really how I plan on doing this. But we also have our sealers here. This is our primer that we're going to be putting, and our sealer. The primer and the sealer go on this interface right here in between the two mating aluminum edges. That's the only place you do it, and that's the only leak site that will be there. So we'll go through the details of that in a minute, but for now, let's work on just removing this. We have to be very careful on how we remove it, but we do need to remove this old seal. This right here is a seal removal tool. You want to be really careful not to score the edges of your, you have to be really careful not to score the edges of your aluminum here. So what you do is you just pry it in, kind of dig in there. There we go. And then you kind of just pop it out, just like that. Okay? Old seal is removed. One thing to take note of here in removal of the old seal is this little line here. That is going to identify the clock of your new seal. You can see it here as well. There's a slit right there. The old seal goes on. In fact, there's two of them. Should be one right there too. And the new seal goes on right there at the interface. That's basically where your sealant is going to go, your RTV sealant that comes with the kit. So now we take our Loctite, part number down in the description. It's green. Okay, after everything's all cleaned up, you take your Loctite primer and apply it to the inside of the mating surface between the top and the bottom part of the block. This is what allows the RTV to adhere really well and create that seal between those two surfaces. Very, very important. So you just keep on dabbing this on. And it will dry, you'll need to flash, right? Okay, now we let it flash. I decided to put primer all the way around this, and I have my seal, my new seal right here, and it's ready to get installed. But before I do that, I think it would be a good idea just to take a tiny bit of oil and put it right around the crank shaft, just a tiny bit right around the whole thing. Just makes it slide on a lot easier, okay? Just like that. And then we have our tool here that basically slides right on that. Now this fits perfectly. If I just give it a little bit more of a push. Now this guy here just slides right on this just like that. And give it a twist just to make sure that it's seated fully. And what it does is it creates a interface surface between where the gasket slides over to where it'll end up going on top of the crankshaft. So this is an adapter plate that allows that to happen. Makes it a little easier for you to install. So now you have your new seal, and you can see your little nub. The little nub here lines up with the interface. We'll put on the sealer later, but for now, this guy just basically sits just on that, sits just like that, okay? I can get a little seated, a little started there. Good, that is perfectly lined up. Now, as I said earlier, we take our piece right here so that I'm not making any type of impact directly onto the plate, onto the seal itself. All right. Grab my wood, and I'm not even going to use the hammer. I'm just going to use my fist. A little bit of a hit. Okay. Now that the new seal is put in place, you use your flange sealant and inject it into this little hole that I was pointing out earlier with the seal that interfaces between the top and the bottom side. There's also one over here and over here. So what you do is you push the plunger down and you squeeze the sealant into the hole until it comes out of the hole, and then you just dab it with your finger. Okay, there's one. And there's two. All right, guys, that just about does it for me. Thanks a lot for watching. Now you know how to replace your rear main seal on your N54. Stand by, there's tons more videos just like this, working on this 2008 E90 N54 powered BMW. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching. Take it easy. Later.